All righty. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have everybody on. Welcome to our streaming audience, our Facebook Live audience. We've got partners all over the world chiming in. I'm excited to be with you guys tonight. We'll be getting started in T-minus 2 minutes here. We've got people on our conference call Bridgeline. Obviously, there are those of you that are joining us by way of Facebook Live, especially those of you that cannot dial into the conference call line. That's why we started streaming our calls on Facebook Live. And so excited that you are joining us. I ask you to do us a favor, a tremendous favor. Number one, be sure to hit the share button on this particular broadcast so it can be shared with your entire team and your audience as well. And then, of course, be sure to make comments. Let us know where you're chiming in from. I certainly go back and I'm very interactionary when it comes to the comments on the page here and on the broadcast as well. So excited that everybody is chiming in. We'll be getting started in literally T-minus 65 seconds. Welcome to the call. I know we've got people dialing in. Go ahead and state your name and where you're calling from before we get started this evening. If you're on Facebook, make sure you let us know where you are logging in from. We like to know who you are and the city, state, and or country you're dialing in from tonight. We'll be getting started momentarily. Like I said, we've got people dialing in right here on the conference call Bridgeline. Those of you that can do that, please do that. And then, of course, we've got people chiming in right here on Facebook Live. I'm so excited about technology because we get people from all around the world that are able to get the same unique training. And of course, it will be housed on our website, www.bifyln.com. That's www.bifyln.com or builditforyourlastname.com. All of our training material is right there. Our system is right there as well. So we'll be getting started in T-minus 35 seconds. If you haven't done so, if you're on Facebook Live, we're streaming in live right now on Facebook. Let us know where you are chiming in from. And of course, if you're on the conference call line, let us know where you are dialing in from. We'd love to hear from everybody, all of our partners, all of our wonderful family members around the world. Oh, welcome, Florida. Good to have you on tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. All right, it's the top of the hour. Let me go ahead and put us in a conference call mute mode here.
Conference muted.
Yes. Let's see here.
Entry notice off.
All righty. Well, welcome everybody to the broadcast. Welcome to the call. This is none other than, of course, Jarrod Wilkins, Global Director, $500,000 ring earner, right here with this incredible company. I'm so excited that everybody is obviously having an opportunity to listen in and watch in on this particular training. You know, we've been doing this particular training segment and call literally for years now. We've got many people that are part of the organization that actually grace us on this call. Many people that are part of the company actually that get on this call as well. You listen in, they're able to gain different perspective, different insight as it relates to building their network marketing businesses. And so we're so excited to be back on this week to share with each and every one of you a very foundational and fundamental topic, one that I know for a fact has served me very well over the last 13 years of our career being in the network marketing profession. And, I know it's going to serve you well today to really learn this information. You want to mark this down in your calendar if you have not done so. This particular call, it happens 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday. Every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is our Build It for Your Last Name training and mentorship call. It is designed to educate you. Educate you on what? The profession, the nuances of the network marketing profession. It is designed to equip you as well, to equip you with the techniques, the strategies, the tools that you will need to go out and function as an independent business owner. Then, of course, it's designed to empower you. to empower you to understand unequivocally that you have all that is required to go out here and build a tremendous business. You know, I always tell people you must use your business to build people, but never use people to build your business. We use our business to build people. We don't use people to build our business. What does that mean? Does that mean, you know, when I say that, some people, you know, meanings and sayings are two different things. Sometimes people hear what you've said, but they attach what they mean to it. And so let me explain what I mean by using the business to build people. What I mean by that is our call as an organization, my vision, a part of our vision is to develop and to deploy leaders, to transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. I want you to write that down. The purpose of our organization is to transform followers into leaders, followers into leaders, and leaders into agents of change. Now, I adopted that philosophy from my mentor, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. That was a part of his life's work, and I never forget, as I was sitting listening to it, I said, man, that is so riveting. It resonated, and I want to carry that out in our profession and in our walk of life. And so a lot of times when I talk about using the business to build people, that's exactly what I mean. You know, sometimes you hear people in our profession, they talk about, you know, I want to help people. And there's nothing wrong with helping people. I believe to some degree you're going to help a lot of people in this business. Now, to help people doesn't mean to give things to people. To me, to help people means to serve them. What do I serve them? I serve them my gift. I serve them my time. I serve them my talent. I serve them myself. And likewise, it is with you. And so what you can expect in terms of the uniqueness of the nuances of what we do is to really not necessarily to help. I believe the purpose of helping is ministry, is what you do after you have developed, or along the lines of you developing yourself and developing an organization. But we don't necessarily believe in this nuance or this notion of helping. I really have bought into a philosophy, and not everybody agrees with this, and that's okay. But I want to submit it just for just for point number one, that our objective is to develop and to deploy leaders. We develop leaders in our business. I mean, you know, I heard it said this way before, and I want you to write this down. We are teachers teaching teachers to teach teachers to teach. I'll say it again. We are teachers teaching teachers to teach teachers that teach. So if I was to encompass the whole message of our work, of what we're doing, it's beyond this idea of just selling a product. Okay, it's beyond this notion of, you know, just selling some tea or some NutriBurst, or, you know, selling some great products. Is that a mechanism of what we do? Of course it is. That's how our commissions are paid within Total Life Changes, is through the marketing and the distribution of our world-class products. And we get paid on that. Now, we don't get paid for our time. We do not get paid for our time. A lot of people say, well, I've been involved in the business for a year. I've been involved in the business for 2 years or 3 years, and it's not working. That's because you think you're going to be compensated based on time. Now, will it take some time? Of course. But there's a difference between being involved and being engaged. Let me say that again. There is a difference between being involved in the business and being engaged in business. So what you have to look at is something that I had to look at earlier on in my career. Some of you have heard or may know the first 6 years of my business building career within the network marketing profession. The first 6 years, I didn't even earn $100,000 combined in a 6-year period of time. Okay, so my story was not one of the stories that many of us hear today of people that get involved in network marketing, get involved in Total Life Changes or whatever it is, and they rise right to 6 figures a year or right to 7 figures a year. Now, are there stories like that? Of course there are. I think with technology and the information of what we have when it comes to network marketing now, the validity, the amount of people, the professionals that are involved in network marketing, the world-renowned authors and billionaires that are involved in network marketing now, it has become this place whereby there's so much validation about our profession that people can't help but at least pay attention to it. Well, when I got started in network marketing in 2004, Facebook was not as prevalent. Okay, I don't even know if Facebook was even around. Certainly Instagram and maybe even Twitter and YouTube were not as prevalent as they are today. And so the information was not as readily accessible, but now it is. And so one of the things that I tell people is the first 6 years of my career were practice. And if I was judging our path on what took place the first 6 years, you would have said, Jarrod, why did you not quit? Well, I didn't quit because I didn't feel like I had a lot of options based on the result I was after. And a lot of times what happens with many of us is we quit, or people quit the business because they've got too many options. See, if working a job, and listen to me, there is nothing wrong with working a job. But if working a job is an option for you, a viable option for you, when you say, you know what, I can accomplish my goals, I can accomplish my dream, I can accomplish my vision with working a job, then guess what? That's what you're going to do. I think we lost our conference call bridge line here. Honey, put the conference call bridge. I don't know how we lost them, but we're dialing back into the conference call bridge here. But anyway, but if you can accomplish your dreams, you can accomplish your goals through a job, then guess what? It becomes a viable option. And there's so many people around the world that's a viable option for them. And there's nothing wrong with it. There are others that they go in a different direction when it comes to entrepreneurship or business. They may say, you know what? I can accomplish my dreams and my goals in the real estate field or in the insurance field, or maybe I can start a hair shop or a nail salon or, a lawn care service, or maybe I could do hot shot hauling, or I can get into the music business or the fashion business. And guess what? They go in different directions. Now, for me, I just made up in my mind that those were not viable options for me personally. They were not viable options for me personally to pursue my objective and my dreams and my goals and my vision. So we weathered the storm, okay? And my question for many of you tonight is this: will you be able to weather the storm? That leads me into our topic tonight. And the reason why I want to cover this is because a lot of times in our business, when we're going through the vicissitudes that are supposed to make us, we allow them to break us. And it's not about who gets there first. It's not about who gets there before anybody else. The book of life says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. What does that mean? To me, that means everybody gets a turn. Everybody gets to turn, because if you practice the principles, you can participate in the promises. And so a lot of what we do is principle-based. It's not perfection-based. It's principle-based. It's not even personality-based, meaning you're going to see different people with different personalities, different walks of life, different experiences, different ethnicities, and different ethnic groups that become a part of your organization, that join your team or whatever it is. And you're going to see a vast majority of them that you think should succeed won't, and those that you think won't succeed will. Why is that? Well, it's about principles, not about personalities. As a matter of fact, I'll never forget, I was having a conversation, as I've had many times in my career, and one of the things people have suggested to me, especially earlier on, see, when you're kind of charting through this course and you're looking to grow yourself, you're looking to go to the next level, one of the things people will begin to point out is not your good. They will sometimes point out your bad, and they will also allude to your great. What do I mean by that? Well, it means sometimes what happens in our business, as you're getting instruction, you're getting advice, you're getting coaching, people will begin to point at different areas of your business or different areas in your personality that they feel may be holding you back. And for the most part, I believe people are genuine in their intentions. But I've heard it said before, and I want you to write this down. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. What do I mean by that? It simply means that because somebody gives you advice, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily right for you. All right? And just because somebody took this direction or went right to get to their destination, well, that may not be the path for you. But I've had conversations before. People say, hey, man, you sound great. You're a phenomenal orator, but you come across as, too good. And you need to dummy it down. You need to tone it down. You need to dummy it down. And earlier in my career, ladies and gentlemen, remember, I talked about there's a difference between principles and personalities. Earlier on in my career, I didn't know the difference. And so what I said is, okay, maybe I need to listen to that advice. And one of the vices that people have is advice. Let me pause. One of the vices that people have is advice. We're taking too much advice from different sources, different people. That's one of the things about the internet that it just is. I mean, you can get advice on so many different areas, so many different topics at different times. And guess what? Sometimes that advice, ill-advised advice, can cost you more than you realize. But I started to tone it down. I started to, quote unquote, dumb it down. And the audience of people that I was assigned to, they couldn't see me. The audience of people that I was assigned to, they couldn't hear me. And many of you, you're going to have a specific audience of people that you are assigned to. Your gift, your talent, your essence is assigned to those people, but they will not be able to see you until you stand up in who you are and who you were designed and created to be. And so one of the things that I focus more on outside of teaching about personalities and those types of things is principles. And one of the principles I want to talk about tonight, or two of them, is edification and honor. All right? Edification and honor. I want you to write this down. Edification is the mechanics. Honor is the multiplier. So edification is the mechanics. Honor multiplies. And I'm going to unpack some of this tonight, and hopefully we can get through all of it. Now, edification in our business, these are the glue, or this is the glue to your organization. Edification and honor. It is the glue. It's what keeps or what decides or determines a culture. A culture in your organization. It's the amount of edification and the honor that you have within your organization. Whenever you see a team, a collective team, the separation or the difference between those teams is typically found within the unseen than it is the seen. It's always in the unseen, meaning the culture that you cannot see, but you feel. It's almost like typically when you go to visit a neighbor's home or a friend's home, when you walk into that house, there's a certain aroma, a certain odor there. All right. There's either an aroma or an odor. And we're going to talk about the dichotomy or the difference between the two later on in the call. But you typically, when you walk in, you can smell it right away. Typically, when you walk in, it hits you. I mean, sometimes you walk into a person's house and you smell the potpourri, or you smell the insects. You smell, maybe the Febreze or whatever it is, or certain cologne or perfume or certain foods or whatever it is that person typically has in their home. But here's what's interesting: the people that live in the home oftentimes can't smell it. They oftentimes can't smell it because you can't, and I want you to write this down, you cannot see the picture when you are in the frame. You cannot see the picture when you are in the frame. And so oftentimes people can't see it, they can't smell it, but you can actually smell it because guess what? It's foreign to you. And likewise it is in your home. It's the same exact thing. Tonight, I want to deal with edification because it is the glue that really binds an organization together. Honor is the glue. Edification is the glue that keeps things streamed in. It keeps things protected. It keeps your organization here long after the volume goes up and down. Now, I want to tell you something. I want you to never forget this. Trees don't grow to the sky. Did you hear me? I want you to write it down, please. Trees don't grow to the sky. Oftentimes what happens as we're building our organizations, we're building our team, and we begin to catch momentum. I mean, momentum is at a high, but I want you to understand momentum, just like formulation and concentration and stability, momentum is a phase. Did you hear me? Momentum is a phase. Now, also you have to understand that personal momentum precedes group momentum. So you cannot have a group or a team or an organization that goes into momentum when the individual is out of momentum. Shucks, I just said a mouthful. You cannot have a team, an organization, or a group go into momentum when an individual is out of momentum. That's like going to some wood and saying, if you give me fire, I'll give you wood. You can't go to a fireplace and say, hey, give me fire and I'll give you wood. That's not how it works. You must first give it wood and then it'll give you fire. Well, like it is with that, so it is in this business. You have to give it wood first. And one of the planks or one of the pillars is edification. Let me talk about edification. What is the purpose of edification? I want you to write this down. The purpose of edification is to, number one, establish credibility. It is to establish. What does that word purpose mean? The word purpose, it simply means intent, original intent, the intention of edifying. The word edify means to speak highly of, all right? It is the building up. The purpose of doing that is to establish credibility and respect, all right? You use edification to build people up, to build a system up, to build an individual up. Now, it's very hard to edify when you're accustomed to de-edifying. I want you to write this down, please. Stop using gossip as a bonding tool. Did you hear me? Stop using gossip as a bonding tool. In other words, what you have to do when edifying is you have to look for the positive. You have to look for the good. Now, I often tell people, and my wife will tell you this, I often make this joke, that nobody is perfect. You know, it's amazing to me that it's easier for us to respond, hear me, to negative people and comments than we do positive. See, we can put up a post on social media and get 20 or 30 comments, 20 or 30 likes or whatever it is, and people egging us on, and people say, oh yeah, I agree, or whatever it is. But that one negative comment, that's the one we choose to respond to. I'm guilty too. That is representative of what I call de-edification. It is the tearing down of something. It's the tearing down of a system. See, if you're going to speak of a thing, guess what? There's a difference between de-edification and constructive criticism. Now listen to me. Oh, I want you to write this one down too. Stop taking constructive criticism from people who have not constructed anything. Are you listening to me? I said stop taking constructive criticism from people who have not constructed anything. In other words, we do not care what you did last season. Shucks. We do not care what you did last year, what you used to be, who you used to be. What are you constructing currently? That determines if you're de-edifying or if you're giving constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with saying, oh, no, this is not right, or I don't agree with this, or maybe I would do it differently. But for the purpose of edifying, you use edification as a tool to build up. Now, people have a challenge. Some people have a challenge with edification because they believe that by building somebody else up, it keeps them or makes them lower. That is incorrect. That is erroneous thinking. When I edify, when I build up somebody, it shows my prospect that I'm in great company. Are you listening? When you edify, when you speak highly of somebody, when you speak highly of your company, when you speak highly of the product, when you speak highly of your sponsor, your senior business partner, or whatever it is, guess what you're doing? You are revealing to your team, you are revealing to your prospect that you are in higher grounds, or you are on higher grounds. That is the purpose of edification. Now, let me give you an example. The example I love to talk about when it comes to edification is the things that we edify unconsciously. You edify all of the time. We, as a people, we edify all the time. You edify restaurants. Okay, you edify restaurants that you like, that has the greatest seafood. Some of you, if you're in Texas and I say, hey, who has some great seafood? You're going to tell me about papados. You're going to tell me about the fish, the catfish, or the tilapia. You're going to tell me about their gumbo. You're going to tell me about that, this, that, and the third. If I ask you about your favorite burger spot or whatever it is, you're going to tell me, oh, they've got the juiciest burgers, or man, they're double pounder, or whatever. You go into building those things up. We edify all the time. I was just in the gym playing basketball the other day. I bought me a new pair of Kyrie Irvings because guess what? The store personnel at Foot Action and Foot Locker, they edified the shoe. I went in there. I said, hey, I need some basketball shoes. And guess what they did? They said, okay, I'll tell you about these shoes here. And they started giving me the positive. Yeah, they're light. They give you ankle support. You're going to be fast. You're going to be able to do the moves that you want to do. And you're going to be quick on your feet. You're going to be able to recover. They started building up the Kyrie Irving shoes. I said, but what about the Jordans? What about Michael Jordans? And they said, oh, those are just for fashion. Here it is. Those are just for people who want to look the part. My question for you is this. Do you want to look the part or do you want to play the part? See, for those of us that are in the game, you don't want to wear Jordans right now. You want to wear Kyrie Irvings. See, I'm edifying Kyrie Irvings inadvertently now. But see, my point is this. We edify everything anyway. It is only when we get into network marketing that edification, because here it is, edification falls out the window because of our ego. Now we're dealing with the real thing. Your ego, your ego edging God out. Your ego causes you not to edify. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. One of the things that I've noticed in our business is we let our emotions and our ego stop us from edifying. We allow, listen, write it down. We allow our emotions and our egos stop us from edifying. Oh, I don't like her, or, I didn't like the coaching, or, I didn't like what he said, or I didn't like what she said. I didn't like what they did. And guess what? We get into offense. We get offended. That word offended, it's a grammatical construct. Compound word, offended, off and ended. And it's very difficult, if not impossible, to edify people that you are offended with. Sometimes, I'm moving too fast, but I'm going to go there anyway. Sometimes we cannot edify because we are offended that people are succeeding. Are you listening to me tonight? Sometimes we can get offended because some other people in our upline or in our sideline or in our team or whatever it is are succeeding. And so because of that, now you are harping with emotion and ego and can't properly edify. Maybe because in your former company, you had succeeded at a higher level than they had. And now in this company, they're succeeding at a higher level than you. Now you give what I call backhand edification. that sly edification. Yeah, he's a executive director in the company, but he used to be in my group in our company 10 years ago, and I trained him. Baby, that is not edification. That is de-edification. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. Non-edification is by virtue de-edification. Did you hear me? Non-edification, like you don't even edify. You don't even mention them. You don't even talk about them. You don't, yeah. That's called de-edification. Non-edification by virtue is de-edification. And I want to tell you something. I want you to write it down, please. Many times, people will drink poison and expect you to die from it. Let me just sit that right there on your timeline. Sit it right on your timeline, okay? Many times people will drink poison and expect you to die from it. Edification. So we edify. The new iPhone is just coming out. I know you Android users are upset with it, and I'm just joking. Y'all are beautiful people too. We don't judge y'all. Nobody's perfect. Okay. So anyway, iPhone 8 or whatever iPhone is coming out now, or just came out. I think they're going to charge $1,000 for it. But guess what? People are edifying it. Why do you think they've got lines wrapped around the building of Apple before? They've got a whole culture where you can pay people to go wait in line for 2, 3, 4, 5 days before the phone is released. And they do this with every single phone since the late Steve Jobs launched the first iPhone. Why do you think that is? Because they have edified like crazy the functions, the features, and the benefits, as well as the real value of iPhones. So much so that they've created, hear me, a glue culture. Whereas you can't cut people out of the iPhone community no matter how better your Android phone takes pictures. Listen. No matter what technology your other phones have, there are people that will not leave the iPhone community because of the edification the iPhone has received that has created a glue-like culture that will not allow people to leave. See, let me ask you a question. Do you have an Android culture or an iPhone culture? I don't care what the sales look like. It doesn't matter what happens with revenues or whatever it is. I guarantee you, if you ask them honestly, those that create the Android phone, if they would love the iPhone culture, I promise you, they would say, yeah, we would love to have a community of people. We would love to have an organization or a team of people that you can't cut out of our community. Why? Because iPhone, they understand how to edify. They edify so well. See, you've never heard, and this is not a knock on Android, you've never heard Android users waiting for a week. Or I've never seen it. Maybe you, I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never seen it on the news. I've never heard Android users waiting for a week or 2 weeks for the new Android phone. Doesn't matter how great of the pictures it takes. And I believe Android sometimes takes better pictures than iPhones. Doesn't matter how functional or how big the screen. None of that matters. Why? Because at the genesis of creation, when it comes to the iPhone, they did a phenomenal job with edifying, building it up. They launched these phones, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not just the launch. It's not just talking about the date. They talk about the features, the benefits, they come out. You know what, the late Steve Jobs used to come out and do a whole symposium, and he would have you would see the picture of him holding up the iPhone, and he would be going over the features. He'll be talking about it. He'll be building it up. Let me ask you a question. Do you do that for your upline? Do you do that? Hear me. Do you do that for people on your success team? Do you edify? Do you build up and make people see? The late Maya Angelou said this, and I want you to write it down. People will forget what you said. They will even forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Words are the birthplace to feelings. That's Dr. Mike Murdoch. He said words are the birthplace to feelings. So how do you make people feel? You make people feel good, bad, or great through your words of edification. So, examples, I told you, you edify your cell phones, you edify restaurants, you edify shoes. We edify all the time, so you have to apply, hear me, that principle in this business. Another thing, your prospects, I want you to write this down too. Your prospects, they may trust you, but they do not respect you in this business. They will trust you, but they do not respect you. They trust you because guess what? You can ring their doorbell or whatever it is, because they're people that you know, and maybe you went to high school with them, or maybe you worked with them, or you worship with them. They trust you. They trust you enough to answer your call or respond to your text or open up the door. There's some trust. There's some rapport. There's some relationship there. Whenever you have trust, hear me, and respect, it will always equal success. So you bring the trust factor, your sponsor, your upline, they bring in the respect factor because of what you have said. This is the success triangle. Trust and respect will always equal success. But you can only build credibility and respect through your words of edification. So how do you edify? You edify their accomplishments and the people they have developed in the business. You can do this on a three-way call. Okay, so let's say you've shown somebody the presentation. They've seen the online presentation or whatever it is. Maybe they've been on a conference call and you're saying, man, what's my next step? Your next step is to follow up with that person. And now it is to edify. It is to build up your sponsor, to build up your upline, whoever it is that's going to be doing the three-way call, whoever it is that's going to be closing out your prospect, whoever it is that's going to be collecting the decision. See, your role is to build them up, so guess what? They can close the deal. They can seal the deal. All right? So now, you edify their accomplishments. What have they accomplished in the business? If they become binary qualified, guess what? That's an accomplishment. You can edify that, man. You know, the gentleman that I'm going to put you on the phone with, let's say you're doing a three-way call. The gentleman I'm going to put you on the phone with, he's one of the top expansion leaders in our company. He's been promoted to the prestigious rank of an associate in our company. It's prestigious. What does an associate in our company mean? It means that you sponsor two people. You're binary qualified. That is the first rank in our company. See, I can edify an associate like the associate is an executive ambassador. I could. Now, I believe in edifying. Write this down. I believe in edifying in degrees. And we could talk about that a little later. But it doesn't void the notion that I do edify. So I haven't accomplished anything in the business. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got started in the business and you are staying in the business, that's an accomplishment. It is. You've been in the business, you've got 10 serviceable customers, that's an accomplishment. You've been in the business, you've personally sponsored two people, that's an accomplishment. You can edify their accomplishment and the people that they've developed in the business. So let's say now you've become a director and you promoted a director. Oh my goodness, we can edify that. Man, they are one of the top directors in our company. Everybody's always one of the top. One of the top directors in our company, which means they are amongst the leaders that are helping our company become a global brand. And they've assisted other people in getting to that position as well, all over the world. I know if they can do it and they've assisted other people in doing it, they can certainly assist you. I don't know if they have a whole lot of time, but I did get a couple of moments from them. I'd love for you to really be able to hear their story and why they're so excited about our business here. Hold on one second. See, I've just built the credibility. I've just built the respect for, guess what? An associate. Guess what? A director. I want you to write this down. Write this down. Every executive ambassador has a past, and every IBO has a future. Did you hear me? Every executive ambassador has a past, but every associate and IBO has a future. You got to treat people with respect. Give them credibility. Goethe says, if you look at a man the way that he is, he will only become worse. But if you look at that man the way that he could be, he'll become who he should be. Let me say it again. If you look at a man the way that he is, he will only become worse. But if you look at that man the way that he could be, he'll become what he should be. Edification. Share 1 to 3 things they've accomplished in the business. I've talked about that. You can also share 1 to 3 things that you like about them. Man, maybe they're punctual. Man, you know, this young lady I'm going to introduce you to, one of the things I love about her, she is always on time. She's always on time. Every time I call her, she responds. Every time I text her, if she's not on a plane or not in a meeting, she responds to me. And I love that about her. Or this gentleman, man, I've never met anyone that's more caring about a person's goal. I edify not only their accomplishments, I edify what I like about them. Man, this gentleman, he's one of the sharpest dressers I have ever met. He looks like he's always stepping out of GQ magazine when I meet him. I edify what I like. See, that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. You edify what they've accomplished, and you edify 1 to 3 things that you like about them. Find yourself today, find yourself this week edifying. So now, trust is you, respect is your upline. That produces success. You know, I never forget, you know, going into a courtroom. As many of you know, both of my parents are attorneys. They've been practicing law for the last 30 years. They actually met in undergrad here in Houston and went off to law school together. And maybe that's why I'm good at building cases. Somebody asked me the other day, why didn't I go into law? I said, they don't make enough. But anyway, but that's not the point. My point is this here. I was in a courtroom, and many of you, if you've ever been in a courtroom for a speeding ticket or a violation or a murder charge or whatever it is, I'm just kidding. But if you've ever been in a courtroom, there's a certain atmosphere and a certain culture that's there too. And when you go into a courtroom, you'll see all myriads and different types of people there for different things, traffic violations, you know, speeding ticket or whatever it is. And you see different ethnic groups, different nationalities that's in a courtroom. And, you know, sometimes in a courtroom, you'll see people on their cell phones and they may be texting or whatever it is. You'll see different, you know, maybe people talking with one another and just, you know, having casual conversation. But typically in every courtroom, a couple of things happens. Number one, a bailiff will enter the room first. And when that bailiff enters the room, the bailiff, whether it's a man or a woman, they will typically make an announcement. They make the announcement that the honorable judge, the honorable presiding judge, shucks, the honorable presiding means present. The honorable presiding judge has entered the courtroom, and they give one simple instruction. All rise. The bailiff never says, if you feel like rising, rise. The bailiff never makes an announcement that if you decide to rise, you can. The bailiff doesn't say if you're black, rise. The bailiff doesn't say if you're white, rise. If you're Asian, rise. If you're of Latin descent, rise. The bailiff doesn't say if you have a GED, you must rise. He doesn't say if you've got a doctorate, you must rise. The bailiff says all rise. Meaning everybody is subject to the law. Everybody is subject to the principle. Everybody is subject to the culture. All rise for the honorable. Why? I got to asking myself, why? Why do they always mention honorable or honor before the judge's name? I want you to write this down. Because principles weigh more than people. Shucks. Principles are more important in application than personalities. The honorable judge, in other words, honor precedes personality. They put the weight on the honor. They put the weight on the principle. They put the weight on the law. They put the weight first on the principle. The Honorable XYZ is now presiding. Be seated. Now, what if you, in your self-righteous indignation, because you used to be Mr. So-and-so, used to do, you used to be the class valedictorian, or you were the top earner here, or, what you did in your career is this, that, and the other. You're older than the judge, or what if you say, I don't, today, I done been down here before. You know how you get ebonic. You lose your whole sense of self, and I don't even feel like it today. I don't feel like standing today. I'm just too cool. You know how we got so many cool broke people in network marketing. I got a PhD. I don't feel like standing today. I just got my hair done. I don't feel, my feet hurt. What if a person took that stance? Do you know that they would be held, hear me, in contempt? They would be held in contempt and subject to either a fine or they'd have to serve some time. And hear me clearly. Oh, shucks, I'm moving towards my close. There's so many of you, and I got to be real now. There's so many of you that are being held in network marketing contempt. And you have been served a fine, and some of you are serving time. Jarrod, what do you mean? Because you refuse to honor, your volume has sat down. Because you refuse to honor, you're serving a sentence. You're serving a life sentence of non-requalification. Because you have failed to honor, you now have left this company to that company. You've been in 3-4 companies in the last 12 months because you're dibbling in this, you're dibbling in that, you're blaming him, you're blaming upline, you're blaming sideline, blaming company. You are dishonorable. Even in the military. Do you know in the military service they ask when you leave on your resume that you need to state whether you were, hear me, honorably discharged or dishonorably discharged. They want to know the distinction. Why? I want you to write this down. Dishonor. Now moving to the multiplying effects. And this is my favorite topic, one of my favorite topics to teach when it comes to growing an organization and even life. Dishonor, hear me, has an odor. Dishonor carries a distinctive odor and stench. You can smell it when you enter into an environment. You can feel it. You can cut it with a knife. You can tell you can tell what's been said about you by how people treat you. Yeah. You can tell, listen, you can tell what people have been saying to others about you based upon how the others treat you when you walk into a room. See, dishonor has a distinctive stench. It has an odor. It's like a skunk. You can smell it from miles away. And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way for you to rise to the top with a stench of dishonor. Do you know dishonor? Write it down, please. Dishonor does not allow you to advance. Dishonor. It doesn't allow you to advance. So hear me. You can have edification down pat, meaning the mechanics. You know how to edify their accomplishments. You know how to edify what you like about them. But if you have the right mechanics without the multiplier, all you can do is addition. See, honor is the multiplier of your business. I want you to write this down, please. I'm giving you some good stuff tonight. God never pours his blessing on anything or anyone that is out of order. I'll say it again for you. God will never pour his blessings on anything or anyone that's out of order. Well, Jarrod, I don't know about that. I see people that advance. I see people that win, succeed, that are dishonorable, that are disingenuous. I see people, Jarrod, that are not good. How do you explain that? Well, the devil rewards his demons too. Shucks. The devil rewards his demons too, but it's only good for a season. Dishonor, write it down, does not allow you to advance. Number 2, delayed obedience is the proof of dishonor. What did you say, Jarrod? I said delayed obedience is the proof of dishonor. You get an instruction of what to do. You get an instruction of where to go. You get an instruction of where to be, and you choose not to. I'm grown. You know how people, I'm grown. I'm a grown A man. You know what we say. I'm a grown A woman. And guess what? Your grown behind gonna be broke in this business. Because you are not practicing the principle. As a matter of fact, you're operating against the principle. A delayed instruction is the highest proof of dishonor. The highest proof of dishonor is the delayed instruction. So you get with your coach, you get with your sponsor, you lay out a plan. They invest their time. They take time out of their life. They take time out of their schedule. And they say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, this, and this, and this. All right? You agree that this is what you're going to do. This is the amount of phone calls you're going to make. This is where you're going to be. And you don't do it. Dishonor. What does dishonor do, Jarrod? I want you to write this down, please. Dishonor, number 1, it disqualifies you. Dishonor disqualifies you. So some of us are wondering, why am I not requalifying? Because you're disqualified. Why am I disqualifying? Why am I disqualified? Maybe because you've been dishonorable. Yeah. Maybe because you're so busy gossiping. You're so busy spreading gossip that you can't spread the gospel. I learned a long time ago that gossip is the tax you pay for becoming successful. Yeah. Gossip is the tax you pay for becoming successful. See, dogs don't bark at parked cars. It's only when you're moving. It's only when you're succeeding. It's only when you're growing. It's only when things are happening that people begin to gossip about you. You know, if you don't want people to talk about you, do nothing, be nothing, and say nothing. Do nothing, be nothing, and say nothing. People won't say anything about you. But the moment you decide that I'm going to be, I'm going to do, I'm going to say, people will have something to say about you. But I want you to understand this. Dishonor disqualifies. Another thing, dishonor, write it down. Dishonor is contagious. Yeah. Dishonor is what? It is contagious. It spreads through your organization. Be careful what you do to your upline, because your downline would do it to you multiplied. And I don't even like using the word downline. But be careful what you do to your upline. I've been there before. I've been the guy having the conversations about the upline and what they should do and what they're not doing. And remember, I said there's a difference between constructive criticism and de-edification. De-edification is I throw my stone and I hide my hand. So I'll say things about you, but I'll never say them to you. Dishonor. Did you hear me? You say things about them, but you'll never say it to them. I've been guilty. And guess what? My business reflected it. Oh, yeah. See, you can't hide the principles. No. You can hide from people, but you can never hide from principles. You can smile in people's face, but principles know what you've been doing behind closed doors. So dishonor, it is contagious. It begins to spread within your team, within your organization. And now there's more chitter chatter. There's more focus on what's happening and who's doing this, who ain't doing that. The mere fact that you know about all of the news of what's happening in the company, what's happening in the organization, who's sleeping with who's leaving, who's not coming, who ain't requalifying, lets me further know that you are contaminated. You could either be in politics or in production, but you can't be in both in network marketing. You can either be in politics or production. Dishonor, it is contagious. Dishonor, write it down, it destroys. Dishonor destroys. Oh, I've seen people, good, talented people, people that can speak just so eloquently, people that could present, people that look the part, they sound the part, but their groups are destroyed because of dishonor. I've seen it in my career, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen it. They're destroying people because of their seeds of dishonor. They call in this one. They call in this cross-line buddy. They call in that cross-line buddy, venting this, venting that, saying this, saying that. And they're destroying people. They're destroying their team. They're destroying their businesses. Write this down. Never take bad news down line. Always take it up line. You take good news down line. You take bad news up line. Listen to me. I know that's your friend now. I know the people on your, y'all are family, y'all so close, and I'm gonna just tell them everything. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know how we young people say, we'll keep it 100. I'm gonna give them everything. And ladies and gentlemen, let me share something with you. Only a child tells all his feelings. Well, I'm just calling it how it is. I'm just calling it how I see it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not an umpire. Only an umpire calls it like they see it. You are supposed to speak those things that be not as though they were. I don't take negative downline. I don't make it a habit to take negative or bad news downline. Why? Because it will destroy people. Some people are not mature enough to be able to handle the weight of the news. See, there are two types of people in network marketing. There are those of you that report the news and those of us that create the news. Which one you think you want to be? Do you want to be, the one, this so-and-so, I know how they succeed in, their upline placed people on their pay side. Their upline built their businesses for them. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share something with you. There's nothing wrong with that. People do it all the time, and it's their prerogative. But my question for you is this. Do you want a fish, or do you want to be taught how to fish? One of the greatest lessons and one of the greatest gifts that we've been so blessed and fortunate to receive is the gift of goodbye. Yeah. The gift of goodbye. Goodbye to dishonor. Goodbye to deception. Goodbye to handouts. Goodbye to begging. Goodbye to all of these little idiosyncrasies that keep people right where they are. Another thing about dishonor, and I'm closing. Dishonor exposes a deceiver. Yeah. Dishonor, it exposes a deceiver. Oh, there's nothing. It's like, when those of us that grew up in the hood, and you had roaches. and how would you know if you had roaches? You would know you had roaches, hear me, when you turn on the light switch. You would turn on that light switch and them roaches, they would scatter. They'll run. They're looking to go hide. They're looking to get back into dishonorable places, dark places. That's where dishonor resides, in dark places. See, people that are winning, they don't have time for gossip. People that are personally sponsoring new distributors and getting new customers. Here's my question. This is what I always ask people that bring me, gossip. When was the last time you sponsored somebody? Oh, my business ain't working, the company, I get all that. Oh, my upline, they ain't got time for us. They ain't, I got all that too. But when was the last time you personally recruited somebody into the business? Hear me. When was the last time you personally broke a new director? Okay, that may be too much for you. When was the last time you personally recruited somebody and helped them recruit 2 people? When was the last time you did a tasting party? When was the last time you did a Zoom call? When was the last time you did a one-on-one? When was the last time you did a 3-way call? See, dishonor exposes a deceiver. And I'm closing with this one. The first clue to dishonor, oh, this is good right here, is the request for something unearned. The first clue to dishonor. The first clue to dishonor is the request for something unearned. See, I don't ever ask for something I haven't earned. My wife and I, we have a philosophy in this company. We said we want to make more deposits than we ever make withdrawals. You can't outgive the giver. But when a person makes requests, it's this entitlement spirit. Yeah. Entitlement is a part of dishonor. Ask the prodigal son. He asked for something that was his that he hadn't earned yet. It was his. Success is yours. Executive ambassador is yours. The $50,000 ring is yours. The $100,000 ring is yours. The $250,000, the $1 million, the $500,000, all of that is yours, but at the appointed time. How do I know when it's the appointed time? When I've earned it. Edification. Edification is the mechanics of this thing. It's the how-to. Honor is the why-to. When you have edification and honor in your organization, I promise you, you will be able to provide, you'll be able to protect, and it will be long-term. Let this be a lesson because I'm out of time. God bless you. God bless your families. And God most certainly bless your dreams.